One of the things that never ceases to amaze me is how stupid and oblivious I am to things that I have at my disposal. For example, I have a box, a wooden box, right? It's 12 inches by 14 inches by 16 inches. Allows you to do box squats at 12 inches, 14 inches, and 16 inches of height. Plus I got an old seat cushion I can throw on top of that just for a little bit of a buffer. I use it every day, pretty much, when I'm working out to change shoes or just take a break between sets. Today, getting ready to do squats, I was like, not kind of feeling it. Is there anything I can do to change things up? Been worried about depth recently. Depth isn't where I want it to be. What are the things I could do? And all the while I'm sitting on the box. So I will be doing box squats today because, once again, I've done them in the past, but I forgot that I have the box to do them. Anyhow, just an old man complaining that his senility is getting in the way of any sort of effective training over a long period. Just for knowledge, that spot there is where the box normally sits. Right now, it is in the rack where it will be used for box squats. Note that currently it is set up for a 12-inch height. When it sits here, it's set up for the 16-inch height because that's a little bit more comfortable to sit on. A typical chair is about 17 inches in height, like a dining room chair. 12 inches I find is pretty good in terms of guaranteeing that my hip crease is below my kneecap by a non-trivial margin that establishes that I have indeed hit depth. 14 inches probably does the same thing, but 12 inches is just a little bit more stretch, a little bit more depth, a little bit more ROM. And at this point, I'm way more concerned about range of motion than I am the weight on the bar. So there you have it. This complicated piece of equipment that I continue to forget that I have, that I spent not a lot of money for several years ago and has held up very well. It was from Rep Fitness. Highly recommend everyone getting one if they have a power rack. Great tool to have for squats, step ups, whatever. Yeah. And if you do buy one, remember to use it. Another thing to note, you'll see that 2x4 right there, sitting off the platform, providing enough offset for that box so that when I do my setup, the box isn't so deep that the bar hits the back uprights of the rack, but the box isn't so far forward that I don't have room to step out and set up. So another thing, keep scraps of wood around handy to do things like provide, 3.5 inches of offset, which can be just enough to give you that extra room you need to not stumble when you're trying to squat. Also important to have a chair. Notice this chair has a mesh bottom. When you're sitting on a chair like this that has a mesh bottom, there's no pressure points when you're sitting. unless you're sitting on the frame. Point being is that if you got old achy joints, in this case hips, and you go to sit down, you're sitting down on something like that box, which I also do quite often. The difference being that that box, after a few minutes, becomes painful to get off of. A chair, not so much, because again, the hips are not coming into direct contact with a very hard surface, being something like plywood. In this case, it's the mesh that has some ability to give and shift and conform to the hip shape itself. So more comfortable, a little bit easier to get on and off of, and also breathable as well. So benefits all around, especially come here summertime. So here we go, last set 10 out of 10. Main focus, make sure that core stays braced, things stay nice and tight through here. Setup is good, reps are consistent, not much else to worry about. Make sure the descent stays kind of slow, because getting a little bit tired, but it's not that tired because it's not that heavy. Good session, hips feel good, that's what's important. Plenty of good ROM and the knee and the hip. That's my main priority with squats. So I'm probably going to try to remember and write it down. Tuesdays, squats, they probably need to be box squats. That's a more consistent and reliable effort in terms of working through my range of motion.